After the faction war in Sigil, the believers of the Source and the Sign of the One dissolved and formed a new faction, the Mind's Eye, merging their two philosophies together. The Mind's Eye, also known as the Seekers, the Visionaries, or those who grow to godhood, value growth and understanding. They want to explore the multiverse and face the unknown, overcoming challenges that will test their character. Each person is the center of their multiverse and must follow their own path, since the cosmos hold different challenges for everyone. This journey will forge them, allowing one to find themselves, but also shape the reality around them. They believe everything and everyone exists solely to inform their journey of self-discovery. Those who prove themselves worthy enough may pass into a new existence. Every seeker has at least one craft they practice to ensure that they create something new and refine themselves. So, like the believers of the Source, they believe in experiencing difficulties that will forge them into a newer, better person so that eventually they can ascend to a higher form. And, like the Signers, they are self-centered, believing they are the center of their own universe and that everything exists for their purposes. Their primary plane of influence is the Outlands. Their role in Sigil is the same as the believers of the Source's role, which is creating everyday tools and parts made out of metal at the Great Foundry. Eligibility. Any race, class, or alignment is allowed to join the Mind's Eye. The one thing you need is a tremendous, some say exaggerated, sense of self-worth. Benefits. Because of their relationship with the multiverse, they all gain a +2 bonus when attempting to disbelieve an illusion, similar to the ability the Sign of the One get. Members who are 3rd level or higher can also cast Remove Fear once per day, and 7th level and higher members have an innate sense of direction. Restrictions. Most people dislike the Mind's Eye because of their arrogance. They suffer a -2 penalty to reaction rolls, merchants overcharge by 10 to 20%, and chantmongers refuse to give information or straight up lie unless someone else vouches for them. The Factol of the Mind's Eye in 2nd edition was Ombadias, a former Godsman, neutral good Vodkin, and 9th level shaman. He is patient and wise. He is from a planet called Glamain that was conquered by a Batazu lord. He was imprisoned in the city of Dis, undergoing all sorts of torture, but eventually escaped, convinced that his clan needed him more than ever. When he returned home, he found that all of his people had died. He wished he had died with them, and considered returning to Beator to die in battle, but decided to dedicate his life to serving the downtrodden of the multiverse. He traveled to Sigil and eventually found himself involved with the believers of the Source. In 5th edition, their Factol is Saladrin, a neutral elf archmage. She doesn't leave Sigil much anymore, sacrificing her own journey of experience in order to guide the faction. She focuses her energy on creation, practicing many crafts she's learned in her centuries of life. Their headquarters after the faction war, when the factions were outlawed in Sigil, was the Outlands. They set up bases in every gate town so that they could easily access the rest of the multiverse. In 5th edition, factions are allowed back in Sigil, so they have moved to the Great Foundry, doing the same thing that the Believers did with it, that is, crafting metal tools and parts. So, like the believers of the Source, they believe people need to experience things in order to forge themselves into a better form. Like the Signers, they believe everyone is the center of the multiverse and that they can shape reality around them. However, unlike the Signers, they don't do this by pure imagination, but by overcoming challenges and facing the unknown, like the believers. The idea is that everyone shapes and is shaped by the multiverse, a relationship that benefits both. So, according to the 2nd edition description, they seem like a good mix between the two, but with a little more believer influence. However, in 5th edition, they still believe in experiencing and overcoming challenges like the believers, and that they can shape reality like the Signers. However, no mention is made of them believing everyone to be the center of the multiverse. Also in 5th edition, their members are encouraged to take up a craft or hobby so that they have something to work on, something new that they can create and challenges to overcome, making them a better person, just like the believers. And their headquarters is the Great Foundry in 5th edition, and they make tools and parts just like the Believers did. So even though the book says they are a fusion of the Believers of the Source and the Sign of the One, the 5th edition version of the Mind's Eye really feels like they're just the Believers with a different name. I really don't see any influence from the Sign of the One other than the shape reality around them sentence, but even that is pretty vague on what exactly that means. Anyways, that's the Mind's Eye. This video is a lot shorter than my other ones, and that's because there's really not a ton of information on the Mind's Eye. 5th edition only has like 3 or 4 paragraphs on each faction, and then 2nd edition had a lot less information on this faction since they didn't come about until after the faction war, so they got 1 page in the faction war adventure module, but they didn't get any extra information like the other ones did in the Planescape campaign box set or the Factol's Manifesto book. So there's just not a ton on them. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to be making more videos soon.